Song number 341. 341. Redeemed, how I love to proclaim it. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed who is infinite mercy. His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed. Redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed. His child and forever I am. Redeemed and so happy in Jesus, no language my rapture can tell. I know that the light of His presence with me doth continually dwell. Redeemed, 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 redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed. His child and forever I am. I think of my blessed Redeemer. I think of Him all the day long. I sing, for I cannot be silent. His love is the theme of my song. Redeemed, 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 redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, 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 redeemed. His child and forever I am. I know I shall see in His beauty the King in whose law I delight, who lovingly guardeth my footsteps and giveth me songs in the night. Redeemed, 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 redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Redeemed, 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 redeemed. His child and forever I am.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming tonight. The youth group enjoyed our time down there in Jamaica, and hopefully that you guys enjoy hearing about it. I had it all printed out, my notes, and I realized that our printer did not work beforehand, so I have it here on my phone. Hopefully I'm not looking down too much, and hopefully it goes well. So, order of the service, I'm going to give a brief overview of the JRM mission down there, and then we have several people of the youth group coming up and giving a summary of each day that we were down there, and then we have a slideshow prepared after that. The JRM Ministries down there consists of several different programs down there that they have. The first one is the Little Miracles Children's Home. That's there in the compound where we stayed. That they work there. There they work with Child Protection Agency down there in Jamaica, and the children who are not being adequately cared for by their family can be brought there under the age of 8. So they only go up and provide for the children up to the age of 8 there. The goal with that is basically to provide the children there with a family aspect that they did not receive at home, and to give them a sense of belonging, and to also, they have the freedom there to teach them about Christ, about God there. There are opportunities to support one of those children there at the children's home there, and to donate towards that child, and to give them, basically provide for their basic necessities there at the children's home. Another program that they have down there is the Family Connect program, which is kind of what we were doing down there. what happens there is when the Child Protection Agency sees that a family is not providing a decent living space for their family, then they talk to JRM. JRM then gets a group to come down and build a household for that family and to give them some basic needs as well. And that's what we did while we were down there. And those are basically constructed by volunteers groups then. The third program that they have down there is the Blackburn Learning Center. I believe it was about an hour drive away from the mission there, and that's a school that JRM oversees and funds through sponsorships of other people there, other people from the states providing sponsorships for each child to go to that school. And there, those children have very little or no opportunity to have an education. So this provides an education for those children. JRM also has some thrift stores up here in the States. They have 2 in South Carolina and 1 here in Goshen as well, that the proceeds from those thrift stores help provide and fund JRM down there. That's all I had, so I will give it up to the first person who had the first day that we were down there.
So I guess I had Monday, which was written by Becca, and she's not here tonight, so I'll read what she wrote for Monday. So we left for Jamaica at a really weird time, 11:30 at night. So it was, 11:30, 12 o'clock, and it seems like a different time to be leaving, but yeah. We met at the church, packed all of our stuff into the bus, and drove down to Indy. We got to the airport at 2-ish, waited till 3 to check our luggage in, went through security, and then waited 2 hours for our flight. We flew out at 6 to Orlando, Florida for a 2-hour layover. I had really spicy Chipotle for lunch, and then I had a smoothie, so my stomach was slightly upset about my breakfast choice. We got on the next plane, which was bigger and nicer, and flew over Florida across a little of the Gulf and into Jamaica. The landing was so cool. We got lower and lower till it looked like we were going to land in the water, but at the last minute there was a runway. So when we were flying into Jamaica, we were flying over the water, and so we got lower and lower, and like looking out the window, all you could see is water, and then I thought we were going to land in the water, but then all of a sudden there was a runway, and you can see land, and everything was okay. But we got off the plane, we went through customs, gathered our luggage, passed a band of singing Jamaicans, went through security, and finally met at our ride. We loaded all our stuff up and then drove to JRM. And the bus that we took, so we got off at the airport, and when we got out of the airport, it was really hot, and like just the heat wave from Jamaica, like it really got me. It was like, how am I going to survive working here, let alone just being here? But the bus we had was really cool too. So we got in the bus, and it was already full of our youth group, and I was like, how are we going to all fit in here? But we had seats for everybody, so we all were sweating profusely at this point, so we mostly all showered and took a nap. I slept what I thought was a long time, but when I woke up, it had only been about an hour. We got slightly organized and then went to Sky Beach for supper. There we got our first taste of Jamaican food. They took their own sweet time, and we waited almost 2 hours for our food to come. The evening seemed to drag, but when we got back, it was only like 8. Mike told us a little about JRM, and then we went to bed.
So our first full 24 hours was on Tuesday in Jamaica. So we woke up and started the day out with our group had breakfast and we prayed and then had devotions, and that took a while, so we had to rush off to the bus and said good morning to our bus driver. He was a great man to be with, and we had a lot of fun with him. We had a 45-minute drive to the location where we would be building the house, so it took a while to get there. We got to the job site, and here the house, they had the pad of cement down already for us. We would just build on that, and it was down a very steep hill. It was not a long hill, but it was incredibly steep, so we had to carry all of our supplies down there and 2 big jugs of Gatorade because we would definitely need it. Once we got that done, one group of us started to build the framework of the house, and the other group started to put primer on all of the siding of the house. We got to meet the lady who we were building the house for, and we also got to interact with the neighbors. We went and said good morning to them every morning, and I would say that would have been the highlight of my days there. When it came to lunchtime, we could either have chicken or pork or curry goat. All of that had a side of rice. It was very good and spicy too. After lunch, we were all incredibly tired. The heat got to us. It was the hottest part of the day, but we powered through until 2 o'clock. I was surprised by how much work we got done that first day, but it went very well, I would say. Back at the mission house, some of us girls were able to swim with some of the kids and the aunties. The rest of everyone just showered or rested until supper time. We had supper time with the staff and just spent the rest of the evening relaxing and ended it with going on the rooftop to watch the sunset. The mission was up on a hill, so you could see the ocean off in the distance as well as the city lights below.
So I have Wednesday. This is our second day of work. We got up in the morning, and it was the type of heat that you would get ready in the morning, get dressed, head downstairs, you're already sweating, and that's how you were for the rest of the day. So we had breakfast there at JRM and then left around 8 o'clock and headed to the job site. And like Jenny said, it took about 45 minutes. But I often wonder, how long would it have taken here? Because the roads were so bad, so many potholes, that it took 45 minutes. The guys put up some of the siding that day that the girls had primed the day before, and also started working on the roof, putting the metal on the roof. The girls continued painting trim, and then we were able to start painting the house actually that day. And we painted it duck egg green. Now, it might not sound very nice, but it actually wasn't an awful color. For lunch, Mike brought us Jamaican food again, same as the day before. And thankfully, on Wednesday, we weren't as tired out after lunch, probably because we'd gotten more sleep the night before. When we went to leave, one of our guys saw that the bus had a flat tire. So we all piled in, drove more to a main road, and then all piled out again, and that way Derek, our bus driver, could fix the tire. We finally made it back to the mission and just had another relaxing afternoon. The guys, I think, swam that day. And again, if you showered and got ready for supper, you were sweaty again after that. So it was kind of pointless to shower until bedtime. We ate supper with the staff that night and then joined them for their Wednesday evening service, singing. And then they would take time to bless each other or celebrate or say something that they're thankful for. So that was an encouragement. That night they also had a farewell, so we were able to, for one of their staff, so we were able to be there for that. And then we ended up on the roof again. That was kind of a tradition. Evenings we would go out there and just watch the city and talk about how our day went and how we were enjoying the trip.
Thursday was such a meaningful day. After a delicious breakfast, we had group devotions. Kyle led out and encouraged us to spend time in prayer. We then split up into small groups to pray before heading out to the job site for the day. It was a shorter work day since it was our last day at the job site. The day consisted of putting the final touches on the house. At the end of the day, there was a time of celebration for Rasheen, the lady for whom the house was being built. As she was given the title and the keys to her new home, she teared up and shared a thank you speech. Afterwards, we all gathered around her as a group to pray for her and her family. Something that blessed me so much was how the neighbor lady, instead of being or acting jealous of Rasheen because she was receiving a house, went above and beyond by spending a large part of her day preparing a local dish for us, which she served to us at the end of the day. It was such a positive example that both challenges and convicts me. Instead of letting envy or jealousy fill my heart when someone else receives something good or positive recognition, I want to remember that there is a better way, which is to be genuinely happy for them and to bless them.
So Friday was our last work day, and it looked a little bit different than the other days that we had been there. So I started off my day with getting up to make breakfast with my group, and I'm pretty sure they were all late. I was there like 5 minutes late, and they were later than me. So Johnny and I tried to figure out how to cut up papayas and mangoes. They were very slippery, and I do not like cutting mangoes, and papayas are disgusting. But the others fried eggs and assembled the breakfast sandwiches. I think maybe the fire alarm went off once. Not exactly sure. Then we left for a children's school. It's not the same one that JRM supports, I don't think. But yeah, once we got there, the children sang some songs for us, including Sailing in the Wind, which none of us have been able to get out of our heads ever since. It was, yeah, an experience. Then Jenna also read them a story after that, and we sang some songs for them as well. Then for the rest of our time there, we just played with the kids, blowing up balloons for them, carrying them on our backs. I think some of the guys played basketball with the boys, which was basically the hoop was like an old bucket on a tree. And some of the other girls taught us youth girls some new games. Then after that, we headed back to the mission and grabbed some lunch. Lunch was like these meat patty things, which I'm not exactly sure what they were called, but they were kind of spicy. I don't know. Spencer thought they were good. I don't know if they were good. So after that, we went to a nursing home, actually, and it was like a super steep driveway. I don't know how the old people got up there, but then we sang some songs for them, and we split into two groups and went to different levels. And it was a blessing to see many of them sing along with our songs. I wasn't sure like if they would know hymns, but apparently they did. And the one lady made sure to tell me she was Presbyterian, so that was interesting. So then that evening we went to Usain Bolt's restaurant. He was a famous runner from Jamaica. His restaurant was called Track and Records, and most of us tried more Jamaican food there. Some of the mutton didn't go down as well with some stomachs, but overall I thought the food was good. We also entertained ourselves by watching tennis on a huge screen while Rachel disclosed her wisdom on the subject. So if you want to know anything about tennis, just ask her. Also, it was Hannah's birthday that day, and her absolute truest birthday wish came true by having the restaurant staff come and sing her a song, and they gave her a cake that read Happy Brithday, like Brithday, like B-R-I-T-H, not birthday. Yeah, also on another note, no one likes to eat raw ginger, we found out. Yeah, so then after supper, we went souvenir shopping, and everything was like so expensive and overpriced. And then we just went back to the mission and hung out and drank Boom, which is a Jamaican energy drink. It's like a mix of Monster and Red Bull that I thought was kind of good. And then we slept, and that was it.
So Saturday was our day off, kind of, so we started out with breakfast at 7:30, and by 8:30 we were on the road for Rick's Resort, resort to go cliff jumping. So it's a 2-hour drive, and so it got kind of long, but we had plenty of time to talk and joke and laugh, and it was just a really fun time. Upon arriving, we instantly got changed and headed to the jumping site, and pressuring each other to jump and whatnot. But the highest of the 4 jumps, there was a 35-foot one and a 25-foot one, and several of the guys jumped off those. And then later, 2 of the girls, Shakira and Makai, I believe, jumped off. There were some minor injuries from that, some bruising from landing incorrectly. But other than that, nothing very painful happened. Let's see here. After we were done jumping, our bus arrived and we went to the beach. And upon arriving, we were instantly bombarded by people wanting to sell trinkets and stuff, like just random stuff. And then there's a guy that offered to take us on a snorkeling tour. Originally, he wanted to charge us $60 a piece, but then he backed down to $30. But that was an interesting experience. We soon found out that he was just in it for the money and not very excited about helping us enjoy it. Yeah, it was just a little bit sketchy. They were drinking and smoking, and it was, but it was all good. So after we got back, we just hung out at the beach, swam. The water was really warm, and about 2 hours later, the bus driver picked us up, and we had lunch at a cliffside restaurant, and we were able to watch the sunset, take group photos, and just had fun talking and stuff. Then we stopped at a tourist shop, and everything there was half off. I'm not exactly sure why, but so that was nice. A lot of stuff. We bought a lot of stuff there, and then we went about 10 minutes from back at the mission. We went and got ice cream, and then went back to the mission, and it was about 9 o'clock. So it was a long day, tiring, but fun.
Well, on Sunday, it was a very nice day to have a relaxing day. It was still hot, and the youth committee was in charge of breakfast that morning. Breakfast was at 7:30, and we had cereal and baked oatmeal and more fresh fruit. And after breakfast, we got ready for church, and then we loaded into our bus and headed down the mountain to town where the church was. When we got to the church, there was no space for parking, so he pulled up the road a little bit, and then we had to walk across the road and then back to church. When I got off the bus, I was just hoping that the church house was air conditioned, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to sit in that kind of heat and humidity and focus on a sermon. But yeah, it was air conditioned, thankfully. The church was actually just a little lean-to against another building. It wasn't very wide, but pretty long. And it was there were 3 folding chairs and then an aisle and 3 more folding chairs. So that might give you an idea of how it was. The pastor of the church, his name was Pastor Andrew, and he was pretty impressed that Dana and Charlotte had named their little boy Andrew, and he told the whole church that they had the same name. But they had a visiting pastor there that morning,
His name is Pastor Mason, and he preached out of 2 Chronicles. And after church, we went back to the mission, and the JRM staff made lunch for us. And then after lunch, those of us who didn't help clean up, we went and we played with the children outside, and that was lots of fun. They like to race and play soccer, and and then for the afternoon, some of us went to the beach again, and Becca had brought along some snorkels, and the girls used those, and they saw some sea coral, sea urchins. I think one got really close to a stingray, so that was kind of scary for them a little bit. And then they got back around 4:30, and then we had supper. And that evening, we played with the children again until their bedtime and chatted with the staff a little bit. And then we went to the rooftop again to see the sunset, and it was really pretty. And then after that, we played volleyball, and basically had been raining almost every day. Like, it always rained after we were done building the house, which I thought was really cool. But so then it had stopped raining on Sunday, so like the sun had baked the sand really, really hard. And so as I remember, it was really, really hard sand, and it did not feel lovely to your feet. But we played that until we went to bed that night, so that's all.
Monday, goodbye Jamaica. Today was our last day in Jamaica. I think I can say, or speak for everybody in the group when I say we will not miss the heat. Now, like people said earlier, it was incredibly hot. You go to bed and you're sweating, you wake up, you're sweating. The nice thing was that in the rooms they did have little fans, and so if you didn't use the sheet, you would wake up cold. So it was just at the right temperature that you weren't completely miserable, but it still was not great. So yeah, we won't miss that. Anyway, we'll miss all the kids and the absolutely gorgeous view. Now again, when I say gorgeous view, you walk out of this mission just out of your dorm room, or you walk onto the roof or something like that, and the view of the ocean, the port, the harbor, everything is just absolutely beautiful. At night, the entire city is all lit up, and there's lights everywhere. The mission is placed halfway up the side of the mountain, so you can see for miles. Like, it's incredible. But anyway, our morning started out with an early breakfast at 7:30, followed by devotions at 9:30. After devotions, we did our final packing and our final goodbyes. Everybody got their luggage around in a timely manner, but Dawson lost his conch shell that he found on the beach Saturday. Dawson was extremely attached to this conch shell. So we were snorkeling, he found it somewhere down in the ocean and was gonna bring it home. It was the coolest thing ever. Monday morning, when we were getting ready to leave, somebody saw it. But when we actually were packing up and getting ready to go, nobody could find it. And we looked and searched and searched and searched. We could not find it. We have no idea where it went. So on a side note, Shakira also found a conch shell, but that's not important because, she left it at the beach. Well, she was told she couldn't take it with her, so. After loading up the van with luggage, we began the trek to the airport. It was slightly confusing navigating from place to place in the airport, but we got it all sorted out. As we waited for our plane to leave, we were disappointed to find out that it had been delayed over half an hour. We then began boarding around 2:30, but that didn't get relayed to the whole group as a few people weren't ready in time. One of them was in the restroom. So anyway, however, they did make it. We reached our connecting flight in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, about half an hour late, which was fine since we made it through customs and security with 0 issues. After our final flight, we arrived in Indianapolis. As we were heading outside, somebody in the airport set off the fire alarm So they were telling everybody, get out, we've got a fire or whatever. And so we were all walking out anyway. It was fine. And then, a couple minutes later, the guy walks up and he's like, it's fine. You can come back inside. It's just false alarm. We're like, well, yeah, we know. But anyway, so they shut it off a few minutes later. We then boarded our bus and headed the rest of the way home.
Alrighty, thank you all for coming out. Pretty much we're just gonna go through these slides. I forgot my clicker. If you guys have any questions, just shout them out. We'll answer it as we go. Some of them we'll probably click through fairly quickly because they're just pictures of people or taking selfies. So I just want to thank y'all for supporting us youth. If it wasn't for you guys at our fundraisers and stuff, we wouldn't be able to do half this stuff, so thank you for that. But yeah, this was Sunday evening. Dana was very adamant about getting here at 11:30, rightfully so. You really don't want to miss your flight, but we found out we had plenty of time when we got to it. So yeah, got here at about 11:30. I think we were leaving here soon after that. Just pictures of on the bus. See, I don't think we're on the right album. No, we are not. Hang on one sec. So yeah, once we got there, I forget what time we exactly got at the airport, but they weren't even open to where we could print out our tickets. So we sat at the airport outside for about an hour. But then we got on the flight. I'm not sure exactly what time. A lot of sleeping was done, and I included all the photos of sleeping. So Jesselyn and Matthew went. Spencer didn't have his wife, so his job was to keep track of them. Didn't do the best job. Baby Alexander. That's when we got down to Florida. That's when we were just entering Montego Bay there. Beautiful scenery. But yeah, this is as soon as we got into customs. When they said the heat was hot, it was very hot. As soon as you got off the plane, it was just, especially when we got outside waiting for the bus, it was just all of a sudden really hit you to where this is going to be a long week, especially working. Just us all there. Keep track of Charlotte. There's something going to be the same in all the photos, so if you know what it is at the end, just let us know. This is kind of the bus. It's not a very good photo. Can you pause it, Kyle? I think it's on slideshow, yeah. When we were planning on it, Dana and Spencer thought it would be a good idea to get 2 vans. They thought that would be cool, so we could like go separate ways if different groups wanted to do stuff. Once we got there and started driving around, we soon found out that would have been a really, I'm not discrediting Dana's or Spencer's driving, but our boy Derek, the driver, not many people can do what he did, and I wouldn't say we wouldn't have came all back if Dana and Spencer was driving, but there would be good possibility. And yeah, the bus is fairly tight, but man, those roads and what he was doing with that bus was pretty insane. But yeah, that bus, I don't know how we all fit in there, but it was a hot sauna when we were done working, and it didn't smell good in there. More pictures of the bus. This was our view when we got back. Yeah, like everyone said before us, we were right on the side of a mountain overlooking Montego Bay. You could see the bay and everything there. That it was every morning. It made a good morning when you walked out and you seen that. That is our bus. The photo kind of gives it credit, but yeah, it is not the size of what an American bus would be. More views. More views. This was our kitchen and kind of where we just hung out. We don't really have any pictures of our dorms, but that was Dana's. Spencer, even though he was by himself, pretty much got a room like that. Several of us youth guys were trying to get to stay in there, but he wouldn't allow us. That was kind of the place where we hung out, same as the kitchen, just the opposite side. More views. This was the restaurant that we went on the first day. Shakes, smoothies, I don't know what we all got there. But yeah, that was kind of reality sunk in at that point where we were about 30 minutes in. We haven't ordered yet. And then by the time we did order, it was about 2 hours later till we got our food. Dana got a whole fish. He kind of chickened out. He didn't know what he was getting himself into, but that was fun. That was a room we stayed in to eat at the restaurant. Some of the food, that might be Dana's fish right there. I think he realized what he got himself into when they told him to follow the waiter, and then he got to pick his fish, so that was cool. Makai had got a whole crab. That was fun. More of the food. We called him Alexander on the trip down there. Probably wouldn't recommend it. Dana already gets annoyed at me, just me calling him that. But views from the restaurant. It was right beside the beach, so we were there for a little bit. Beside the beach. Not sure what that is. That was a view at night on top of the one rooftop where we stayed good majority of the time when we were at the compound. Beautiful views. That was our snack table. We had plenty of snacks, which is nice. Shakira eating something. More views. Oh, there was a cruise ship that came in the one morning. That was cool. That's kind of the road situation. You can't really tell too much, but yeah, it was about 45 minutes, but it felt a lot longer just because he'd get up to about 30, slam on the brakes, go over a pothole or a bump, speed back up, swerve and everything like that, so that was fun. That was when we first got to the job site. You can kind of see the hill, but yeah, we had to carry everything down there. Not that big of a house, but it is one of the bigger ones that JRM builds. Another photo of, I'm not sure if that's the right corner, but as soon as we got there, I think it was Julia, just leaned up against the corner and just broke the foundation. So that was good to see. But yeah, that's just us bringing down the materials, setting up framing. The men down there really like to give you advice. Weren't too keen on helping you though, so that was fun. just more work. Charlotte talking to some of the locals, some of the girls that were around that area. Jerry was our saw guy. Poor guy he got a lot of, he was getting yelled at quite a bit. Everyone was kind of throwing their wrath at him, even though it was mostly our fault for giving him the wrong measurements, but you gotta have one guy. That was some of our food. We got the food from just a local restaurant or a lady that made it. I think that's the chicken. There was chicken, pork, and then goat. So I took chicken all the time because always a safe bet. But it was a really good food. More of us eating. I don't know. The women were painting and thought that was an injury or something. I don't know. Oh, sorry. That's speak up. What was going on in that photo?
I don't actually know what it was. It was like some sort of, I think we just kind of assumed it was a bug bite. I was just very sore and painful.
More painting, 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 painting. They did quite a bit of painting, which I'm I'm completely fine with them doing the painting and us doing the framing, but laying all the boards. First day we actually got quite a bit done. Got pretty much all the framing up and then started putting some of the boards on, siding. Just talking to some of the locals. That was where you just paint them and then just chuck them along the side of the hill to dry. But that was just the primer, so it could be kind of rough. But on the way back, it was very hot down there. Like I said, it was a sauna, especially after work, and it did not smell good in there. Another picture of the cruise ship, Dawson. Jonathan. Just us hanging out after the first day of work. Sunset. They were beautiful down there. Another view of the coast. That was Thursday or Wednesday morning, I believe, Kyle's group. Going back, doing the paint. That was second day was mostly getting siding, and we got it pretty much finished up, but there was a little bit to do Wednesday yet, or Thursday. More painting. Bev. The roof, that was very hot up top there. Second day that we were out, first day was just unbearably hot. Second day wasn't too bad, but then when you got on the roof, it was twice as bad as the day before. The paint color, not a preference for me, but I guess they paint stuff differently down there, but Shakira, that was when she wasn't trying to hit a nail and missing. She gave it her all, though. The siding would tell you. Getting it mostly finished. That was second day, lunch, pretty much same thing. We had pretty much the same food the same 3 days. That is Terrell in the center, one of the guys down there with the mission. That was the group of girls trying to putting siding on, sorry. Becca, she outshined most of the guys. The other two gave it their all. They A+ for trying. Painting inside. Painting it was, especially on that side, wasn't too bad, but on the other side, I don't know if we have too many pictures of that, but it was sketchy. I fell off the ladder once from the ladder tipping on me, very high off the ground, and just kind of sketchy. Getting it mostly done. That was just more siding. They don't have windows. They just have the shutter type things. The inside building, it was one of the bigger ones they did, but still fairly small. I think it was a 5-room building, kind of a main open area, and then there was a bathroom, shower. I can't remember if it was 2 beds and 1 kitchen or 3-bedroom, exactly what layout was, but 5 rooms. I think that was the end of day 2, what we had all got done. We got quite a bit done. It was going to take, they were thinking about a half day on the next day. This is when we got our flat tire, just chilling there as Derek did all the work. We haven't gave Derek enough credit. That man was a, I don't understand how that's possible, but going back to this photo and Spencer supposed to keep an eye on Matthew and Jess. When we had that flat tire, they started walking off, and Spencer was just sitting on the wall not doing anything. Someone thought they seen Matthew get on his knee, but later confirmed that he was just tying a shoe. But it was close. We almost had to fire Spencer. Yeah, back to Jonathan. Dawson. A lot of people were tired, and rightfully so after that work day. Afterwards, just hanging out with the kids there. They had a worship night that night. Next morning's breakfast. Just kind of show you, that wasn't even, I don't think that's the back of the bus. That's like the row before the back. So we had another 4 people crammed in the back behind that. It was tight with 30 people. The front was the kind of sketchiest. He had, there was a driver's seat and then a passenger seat, but there was a seat that could fold down. He had to shim it and everything so you wouldn't be bouncing around. It was not up to DOT code around here. Painting, Dana. The third day was about the worst just because there was no more painting or priming stuff you could do, so everyone was down in the building, and when you get about 25 people in that building, it's kind of crammed in there, but getting it done, theirs kind of shows the backside. You just kind of sketchy. Getting everything finished up, getting the porch all done. Jonathan, Galen, monkeying. We ate lunch, and then about an hour later is when we finished, and then the one local started making food for us and gave each of us their own plate just after we finished this. So felt kind of bad, but it was like no one was eating it. We're like, it's good, we're just not hungry. Because the amount of rice they put in those boxes could fill up any American. But this is great. Dana is terrified of, I don't know if it's spiders or what, but someone it's some fruit, just put it on top of Dana's head. He was terrified. It was great. That's the finished product. Kind of walking around. This is when we were giving it to her, ribbon cutting. Had her little speech. This is kind of the, just some of the houses down there. Kind of odd. Going back on the third day, this was the pool. They had a pool at the compound. That was very nice, especially after a long work day, jumping in there, cooling off, just hanging out. They had just bought, so the compound originally was like an Italian restaurant, I believe. And then the owner of the restaurant had a very big house right beside it, like villa type thing. So they just got the opportunity to buy this house, which, I believe it was Winston Churchill and several other really famous British people had been at the restaurant and this house, so that was pretty cool. But that house was villa right beside that they just bought, was very nice. Not sure what was going on there. Matthew and Jesselyn does not look happy that Micaiah decided to join him in that photo. Hanging out with the kids and had supper with. They were just surprised there that I could hold a baby. That's all why they had a photo of me. Playing with kids, soccer. They actually call it soccer down there, not football, which is surprising. More sunset, playing with kids. A late night cereal party or something. I wasn't invited. Playing games. Eating snacks. A group decided to walk down the mountain one morning. Good for them. I didn't go. That was Shakira's breakfast that she claims everyone was late to. I dispute that. I'm pretty sure I was on time, but I don't remember, so I can't verify that, but pretty sure I was on time. That's just the entrance of the ministry. That was our breakfast. Connor. Getting on the bus. I believe this is when we went cliff jumping. Oh, never mind. This was our ministry day. This was the school that we went to. They brought all the desk outside. Sang us a few songs. I don't know if there's audio, but this is their one song that they sang us. Yeah, no audio. Oh, Jenna read him a story. We sang him, that's Jenna still. We sang him a few songs, had some snacks, played with them for the afternoon. And this is another one, I believe JRM sponsors the kids. They aren't really involved with the school, but I think they do a little bit of stuff. They poured the concrete and stuff like that, but that's another opportunity. That was inside the school. Just playing with the kids. We gave them balloons. They were going ham on those, just whacking us. That was fun. I'm not sure if we have a picture of their basketball hoop. We'd taken a soccer ball and a basketball, I think, down for them. They were ecstatic about that. But yeah, I mean, those kids are happy with very little of what they got. I mean, I wasn't even a basketball rim, but it was just screwed into a side of a tree, and the tree has grown. So it's sitting crooked, and you can barely, only way to get it in the hoop is a perfect shot or a dunk, and they're over there very happily playing, so it was kind of awesome to see that. On our way back, there's that's the very front, so picture of us all in the bus. The kids ran after us after the school for like a mile downhill, so I'm sure they all had to run back up. That was probably fun. That was the patties, what they call patties. Just throw some random meat in it and put a shell on it. And I guess this is like the Jamaican fast food. So it was decent, kind of sketchy. Hannah. They had KFC, I think Burger King, several American food joints. That was kind of cool. That was the nursing home that we went to, sang after the school. Kyle, there was a little store right across from JRM. Kyle ran over there and I grabbed some popsicles. Also wasn't invited. That's my favorite photo. That's our driver, Derek. Does not look amused. Jonathan, I'm not sure what he's showing there. The sign, if you can't read it, speed kills, don't be in a hurry to enter eternity. We went fabric shopping, another American restaurant, Starbucks. That was the Tracks and Record, Hussein's Bolt restaurant that we went to. Really cool restaurant. That was Hannah's table that we got the waiters to sing happy birthday for. After this, we went souvenir shopping. That was a little sketchy. Brandon stopped and prayed for a man. Souvenir shopping. Everything's outrageous price, and then they like, oh, just for you, I'll knock half off. And it's like, okay, cool. Played volleyball. It was dirty. This was Saturday. We went cliff jumping. Really cool place. It was very salty, like very salty. Guys considering their life choices and why they're going to jump. Very pretty, though. This was the bathroom situation. We'd walked in there, the guys first, and all of a sudden, through the mirrors, we seen the women. And, yeah, it was just, kind of one area. It was divided by the sink wall. But then, yeah, the mirrors, there was no wall in between that, so. But the restrooms and stuff were separate, so. It was still gave you a little shock. That was Kirk participating in the cliff jumping. He doesn't like water, can't blame him. That's us jumping off, I believe that's the 35-foot. It wasn't bad, the salt was the worst part. It was very salty in that kind of like cove there. Dawson. Oh. This is Dana. I clipped the video. He sat there for about 2 minutes, kind of running back and forth, deciding whether he went. But he went finally, so. This was the beach that we went to after the cliff jumping. I don't know. That was when we were trying to decide what we were going to do. Kind of a cool little facility there. They had a little pool there, restaurant. This is when we went out snorkeling. The snorkels were very sketchy. I got 2 that just leaked water inside it, and then afterwards we're like, thinking about it, we're like, I highly doubt he cleans them, so who knows how many people's mouths and stuff has been on that. But out on the beach, this was the restaurant we went to afterwards. Cool scenery. Could have cliff jumped there, but they didn't allow us. Actually, it was right beside the cliff jumping. The cliff jumping was right to the right of that. That sign, restroom, what is it? Please be safe. And then it says, don't stand or climb or lean on the wall. If you fall, fish could eat you. That might make them sick. So, not concerned about your safety, concerned about the fish safety. Some of the youth guys, youth girls, some of the food, baby Alexander. Views. We went and stopped to get ice cream. So I forget, there was a promise, not really a promise made, but Brenna said we were going to get ice cream one of the earlier days, never did, so that was kind of the ongoing joke. Brenna was going to get us all ice cream. She didn't, but we did stop to get ice cream, so I guess it made it somewhat better. Even the fast food down there, half the group got ice cream here. This was just at a grocery store. There was, forget what the restaurant it was. I think it was a Wendy's. Yeah, it was a Wendy's that was right across the road, and half the group decided to run over there. And this probably took 30 minutes or more to get everyone through to get ice cream. And the group that went over to Wendy's didn't even get to the cash register to order in that meantime, so they kind of got screwed over. Didn't get anything. Janessa with a frog. They had 2 dogs there that were really nice. Tired people. This was their church service. Very high energy. It was fun. Dawson, me, more views. Goats, not sure where those were. This is the Sunday afternoon when they went to the beach. I didn't go. I think, Aaliyah, you went, didn't you? Did you guys see anything? Or
Yeah, so that was the day we saw, I think we saw a stingray, like a little stingray, a big jellyfish. It was like right behind me, and Shakira saw it, and it was really big. And several sea urchins, and then a ton of little crabs. And it's when Shakira found her big shell, and she had to leave it behind because they told her she can't take it, and she was really bitter. But
is that your shell, Shakira? In memory of Shakira's shell. She got photos, so it did happen. Just back at the mission, Sunday evening, had supper with everyone at the mission and the kids. Just playing with them. That was the last night there. We chilled on the rooftop again for a while, soaking it all in, and we did play some volleyball. My hair. Usually they have the groups come in, I think on a Saturday or the Sunday. So our week was kind of screwed up. On a normal group, the group comes in and they're able to meet with kind of everyone Sunday evening and get to know everyone. Ours was kind of backwards, so on the last day we were there, we got to meet everyone, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's kind of the compound. That's the building we were sleeping in. It's a long story. There were several guys that were getting disgusted with the granola bars people were bringing, looking like turds, so we had to make an example. Rolling one up, it does look like one. So we put it beside the girl's shoes. I don't know. It was late. We were tired. Geckos or something. So it was Monday morning, getting all packed up, all the package sitting down there. Most of us were fairly tired out by that point. Heading to the airport. That was the airport. Going through customs and everything. So our flight got delayed from going out of Montego Bay by I think half an hour and out. I think it was half an hour. So that was kind of pushing our schedule a little tight. And then by the time we got to Florida, the only 2 international bays were full. So we had to sit out on the tarmac for another 15 minutes. So by the time we got through, it's flying out, got out of the airplane into the airport, then the bags took forever. That's the girls waiting for the bags. And getting through customs made it a little tight, but it was, you always worry a little bit more than you need to at the airport. I was flying back on our flight out of Florida. Airplane was fairly packed, but then we had a stop in Atlanta or somewhere along the East Coast, and like half the people got off. So the last leg of that flight, it was literally like just us on the airplane, so that was nice. Spencer, Janessa. And back in Indianapolis, this is us waiting for the bags, waiting for Dana. Took him a while. And then Connor just sleeping. And I think getting us loaded up, and we're back at the end, so that's pretty much it. Thank you. I'll turn it over to the ministers now.
Well, how many of you are ready to go to Jamaica? Maybe it sounds a little warm right now yet, right? Give it a couple months, maybe about January, we could be more interested in a work group. But, well, thank you for sharing, youth. I enjoyed hearing about the individual days and just overall what you did. Sounded like a enjoyable trip. I know Dana and Spencer put a lot of work into organizing it and getting tickets, and I'm still trying to figure out what were we supposed to notice about Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. Did anyone notice anything? So yeah, she had forgotten her dresses, so she only had 2 dresses the whole week down there. Did anyone have questions? Sorry, I forgot to.
Any questions for him?
I was wondering, they said they just have the kids until they're 8. What happens to them after that?
It's a great question. I believe they go into the foster care system. Like, they are actually licensed to keep until they're 8, so I think it goes back to the state at that point.
So what size was that house that you built? Like, looking at the picture, it looked like 12 by 16 or something. Just curious.
I don't know the exact dimensions. Yeah, it was small.
And there were 5 rooms in it? Wow. Did she have children, the lady that was going to move there? A family?
I think 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 2 girls. And then her mom was living with them.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing. It was enjoyable looking at the pictures. And, you know, there's something about interacting every day for a week that we learn to know each other better, right? And so I think it's, as a youth group, I think it's a good way to learn to know each other in a different way and build some memories and, yeah, get some work done in the meantime. So I just bless you for doing that, working hard and completing the job you were going to do. So, okay, I think we're going to stand and we'll have a dismissal prayer and then you can be dismissed. Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for what we heard tonight. Lord, thank you for our youth. And I just pray a blessing on each one of them. Lord, I pray that as they serve you, that you would just bless their lives. Thank you for the opportunity that they had to travel to Jamaica this summer and for the work that was done there. And Lord, I pray that what they did would continue to impact that lady and that she would choose to serve you if she's not now. And I pray, Lord, that you would just bless the ministry there. I pray that you would continue to use them to minister to needs in the country there. Just be with us tonight. I pray that you protect us as we go to our homes. Be with us throughout this week, that we could be a godly example and influence to people around us.